And because a few years ago, Indeed, what they did is, it was really kind of self-serving. What they did is they said, look, we're going to actually cut out all the recruiting agencies and just pull in just the ATS data. And then any of the recruiting agencies, they're going to have to pay us extra in order for them to work with us. Whereas if you are a company that's posting those jobs, they will pull those for free. Now, you've probably gotten calls from Indeed, and what they'll typically do to try and generate more business is that even though you get the listings free, what you pay a little bit extra for is if you have a specific job that you want to stay at the top of the page, they call those sponsored listings, and they run a pay-per-click system. It's worked so well for them over the last few years that a lot of other organizations are doing it now too. I don't know if you remember this, but LinkedIn used to charge like $200, $300, $400 per job, right, to post jobs individually. They've actually recently changed to the same model, kind of the pay-per-click model. Doesn't mean you're going to get applicants. That's how many times people click on the job. So if we look at the numbers with the providers, another 10 to 15% are needed. Looking at NPs, this is from a recent conference. They tabulated 248,000 are licensed in the U.S. today. Let's also keep in mind that not all of those nurse practitioners are working at bedside or working with patients, right? A lot of them are in leadership roles. We have a leader with us today that's not actually doing individual patient care. So that actually adds to the job too. So as those nurse practitioners, get more responsibilities, they're running departments, they're becoming directors and CEOs of hospitals, then that leaves more spaces need to be filled as far as providers are concerned as well. And when you compare 248,000, that's a drop in the bucket to the amount of physicians that are out there. So it was meant to kind of help fix the problem with not having enough physicians, but it's difficult because we can't get enough of the nurse practitioners through the schools right now. There's roughly about 30,000 NP jobs that are on Indeed, to give you an example. So that's still running 10 to 15% of those are needed at any given time. Now, what these numbers will mean to you is that a lot of your positions are going to go unfilled for a longer period of time. That's really the bottom line. And so while that happens, as the longer that your jobs go unfilled, how does that affect you personally? You want to chime in your role? Because the people in this room have different roles. So some of you are executives, some of you are HR professionals. If you don't mind, I'd love to hear some audience participation. How does it affect you personally when some of these jobs go unfilled? Okay.
I work for a company that does in-home nursing. We currently either employ or contract 2,500 nurse practitioners across the country. And so, to your point, I've got way more members from health insurance companies than I can get to with my current clinical capacity, right? So every one of those that goes unfilled, I'm the SVP of operations. So from a revenue perspective, from a financial perspective, from a commitment to our board of directors perspective, every day that those slide by, right, I'm getting further and further behind my financial commitments that I've made for the year.
Yeah, exactly. So you're exactly right. So the times to fill are stretching out. It depends on the type of role. The last numbers I was able to get is 55 to 119 days. And now, what are the expectations of the other stakeholders you're working with? What generally are their expectations? Do you think they match up with that? What minutes? Because 120 days is a long time. I mean, that's like four or 5 months, right? So 4 months. That's a long time. Let's get you a mic.
I had another comment to add regarding how the numbers might affect you, the time to fill. From an employee relations perspective, if the current employees that you have are working overtime and they're working more hours to fill in the lack of talent that's available, they can get stressed. They'll have a decrease in work-life balance. The number of complaints will increase. And the tension will arise, and the managers have to deal with this, which takes time away from more of the strategic things that will go on from day to day within the organization. That ultimately will contribute to additional turnover.
That's a great point. Thank you for that. That's an excellent point. I've heard somewhere in the neighborhood of 50% premium, because as far as like whatever that person's salary is, a 50% premium when you take consideration overtime and call pay for the ones who generally wouldn't be getting as much overtime because you're short. So that's a great point. Any other points? Okay.
You know, I think it also leads to increased turnover as well, because the people that are working short-handed, and you know, they wind up putting out fires instead of strategically planning anything. And then what happens is, you know, as you're working 10, 12, 14-hour days, you leave. You go to another organization that has the appropriate staffing. And I mean, I've lived that, so I understand it, and it's a really big problem, because it does increase the turnover.
Go ahead.
It also turns into a vicious cycle,
Yeah.
because as you have the reputation of having people that don't have the resources or doing more with less or burning out, it becomes even more challenging to fill the roles that are taking longer to begin with.
That's an excellent point. So see, this is real. Okay, right here.
That are staying open for 118, you know, because then that's, I think that part of that will kind of maybe discourage people from even wanting to apply, especially if they get word, oh, it's going to take a long time before you know, even get in the door, or even apply for a position. So that reputation has already kind of been tarnished from the jump, just because the position hasn't been filled or whatever the case may be. So it just makes the company look bad, the reputation.
That's a great point. Thank you. Yeah, excellent.